friends, Shay here. So I'm here to open a new video for you. As you can see from the title, I have a pile of volume ones or like single volume series that I haven't gotten to yet. And you guys really love when I do this. So I'm very excited to bring you the next installment in my volume 1 Blitz kind of series. I haven't figured out what I'm exactly calling this. I usually just try a bunch of volume 1s in these, give you my initial impressions, and kind of rank where they're gonna sit for me and which ones I'm going to keep collecting, which ones I know I won't. Some of them obviously are complete, so I won't continue those, but I'll rank my favorites as we go. So let's talk about what I'm gonna read in this vlog. So first up, we have Fiancé Chosen by the Ring. I've had this forever, and I just haven't gotten around to reading it yet because I knew I wanted to do a volume 1 series again here very soon. So this one is very high on my priority list for this project. Next on the list is No Longer Heroine. I have heard basically nothing about this one yet. I know there's a few people who have read it, but I haven't looked at what they've had to say about it because I want to read it for myself. But this one isn't being talked about widely in the community, so I'm very excited to see how I'm going to feel about this one. Next up is a boys love title, and that is Love Nest. I am very intrigued by this. It looks like a unexpected roommate kind of situation. So it is sealed, so we know it's got the goods in it. So we'll see how I feel once I get into it. The next one here is a classic, and that is Princess Knight by Osamu Tezuka, who's the creator of Space Boy, or Astro Boy, sorry, not Space Boy. And this is the princess style story. I'm very, very excited. This is the complete series in this omnibus. This is out from Kodansha. So I will share my thoughts on this one with you, and we'll see how I feel about this classic mangaka because I've not read anything by them yet. So we'll get my thoughts. The next one is a sapphic title or a Yuri title, and that is The Summer You Were There. This is looking adorable. It says the start of a Yuri storybook romance. That's all I needed to see. I'm very excited. And yes, I think this is going to be good. So we'll see how I feel. And then I've got Crossplay Love Otaku times Otaku and Punk. So it looks like this is a crossplay thing where they both crossplay as boys and maybe have feelings for each other in their crossplay stuff. And I think are rivals outside of that. I can't quite tell, but I'm very, very excited to see where this goes because I think it could be very, very interesting. So I'll tell you my thoughts. Next, I have Unnamed Memory. This is one that I actually picked up the light novel as well, which I may read before I read this so that I can kind of tell you which one I prefer. There's another one in this stack like that, so I might do the same for it. The next one I have here is Imaginary. I don't know too much about this, other than the tagline says, "A love that could have been." It's 7Cs, so sometimes their descriptions are hard to trust, honestly. But I flipped through it a little bit, and the art looks very interesting. So I'm very excited to see where I land with this one. And then I have a very anticipated title in my hands, and I'm kind of freaking out about it. And that is Tsubakicho Lonely Planet by Mika Yamamori. This is the same creator that did Daytime Shooting Star. I've heard this one is even better than Daytime Shooting Star. So I'm very, very, very excited. Thank you, Yen Press, for giving us this title. And I'm very excited. Then this is the other one where I've read the light novel, and that is My Happy Marriage Volume 1. The art in this is so stunning that I couldn't help but double dip. So I'm very, very excited to see how the art translates what I've read. The next one I have here is Miss Miyazen Would Love to Get Closer to You. This one's giving me feels of like Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, or Kubo-san Won't Let Me Be Invisible, I think is what it's called. But it looks very, very cute. I'm very intrigued to see if one of the others in this kind of realm stands out more than this one, or if this one takes the cake. I don't know. We'll find out. The next one is a Yuri short story collection, and that is Cats and Sugar Bowls. There are 9, I believe. Yeah, 9 bite-sized stories. So I think that's part of where the cat comes into. But yeah, there's going to be 9 little short stories in here, and I'll let you know whether the collection's worth it or not. Okay. The next one I have here is Monotone Blue by Nagabe. Now, Nagabe's stuff outside of The Girl from the Other Side hasn't always hit well for me, so I did hesitantly pick this one up, but it's looking pretty cute. I just hope that there's no really weird kind of stuff in it like there is in some of his short story collections, or there. I don't know their gender. I should say there. I should just be good that way. So we will see how I feel. And then last but not least on this list is Tales of the Kingdom. Now I believe this is a, purple-eyed Adarte, blue-eyed Adulte, one enveloped in light, the graceful sun, and one shrouded in darkness, the prisoner. So it's kind of a rivalry between brothers from the get-go kind of situation. So I'm really interested to see where this goes. So those are the things that I'm going to be reading in this vlog. Now that this long opener is done, let's go ahead and dive into the reads.
Never thought it would be so hard. I grew up without a scar, just living my life with no big worries. And I've always known what I want, just didn't know what came along. Finding myself much less happy. Back in the days I used to dream about one day a life so amazing, not everyone judging me. Don't wanna care about them, though it hurts so bad. I wanna stay wide open, 'cause if I shut down, it just gives them right. I wanna stay wide open. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. I wanna stay wide open. Can't stand to hear more today. I'm gonna lock my door and stay inside or wait until I'm safe again. I have nothing more to put on. I'm defeated and withdrawn, just trying to understand where it went wrong. Always believe that nothing good in life is free, but it's overwhelming how people can hate on me.
Okay, so the first volume that I ended up reading for this vlog was Tsubaki Cho Lonely Planet. In Tsubaki Cho Lonely Planet, we have Fumi. Fumi's father has incurred a crazy amount of debt, and he's now on this ship trying to earn money, and she has to leave the place that she's been living within a week's time. So she ends up taking this live-in housekeeper job with a man who's an author. He's very grumpy, curmudgeon-y, not very talkative, has really long, shaggy hair. This is him on the back. Doesn't take very good care of himself, and so she's kind of taking care of everything else for him so he can just focus on his work. The art is very much like Mika Yamamori's traditional style. This is the same mangaka that did Daytime Shooting Star, and it feels like a very similar story. This one is a 14-volume series that's complete in Japan, so I'm hoping that we'll get a pretty quick release on this one through Yen Press, since it is already complete. I am enjoying it so far. I do think the age gap is gonna win in this one, from what I'm gathering so far. There is a teenage age protagonist that could be a love interest for her, but I don't see that playing out well. He's not a really likable character at this point, so I don't think he's gonna win, but I do think that the author is, because at his core he really is really sweet and really kind to her, and he just kind of doesn't know what to do with her. So yes, there's that. And I would definitely recommend picking this one up. I'm definitely excited to pick up more of it. 10 out of 10 would recommend, but just know that it's most likely going to end in the age gap winning in this one. So there's food for thought there. The next one that I've read for this project is My Happy Marriage Volume 1. Now, the light novel did go further than this one. It maybe, I would say the first 3 volumes of the manga will cover what was in volume 1 of the light novel, but the art is absolutely stunning in this one. I really enjoyed all of the art very, very much. And I think you can consume it in either format and really enjoy it. This is pretty much beat for beat what I read in the light novel. So if you don't want to duplicate story, you don't have to double dip. I'm definitely going to be double dipping because I really enjoy both formats. So this will be the first series I've ever double dipped on. So I'm very excited to keep going with my happy marriage, not only the manga, but also the light novel. So when I've read a little bit more, I will be back to chat with you more. So it's been a minute since you've seen my face for this video, but I've read a bunch. So let's chat about them really quick. 2 I do not have physically on me, so let's talk about those first. The first one is Correspondence at the End of the World. I tried this one out at the bookstore and it just didn't work for me. It had this weird, like, pervy feeling, alien abduction thing going on with it, so I opted out of that one. So that one's not for me. Your mileage will vary on this. I do recommend trying it out like at the bookstore or getting someone who read it through completely before purchasing, unless this is just your jam. So it didn't quite work for me, so that's a bummer, but there's that. The second one was, I don't remember the name of it right now. It's like the Demon Lord's Housekeeper or something. Anyways, the whole concept is this demon lord has been cursed by the person who made it to their world before. She was very infatuated with him. He was having nothing of it, and she cursed him. This is feeling very Beauty and the Beast to me. So what happened is this girl, this high school girl who loves to clean, ends up accidentally transported to his castle, and she just starts cleaning everything. And it's really cute. It very much falls into Beauty and the Beast for me. I know that May from Maeve Ever Reading, she went in with expectations of Howl's Moving Castle for it. But I wouldn't say that that's accurate. It's much more a Beauty and the Beast type thing. She comes in, she's just doing her thing, and he's just slowly getting to know her and enjoying her company. Maeve's actually going to let me have her copy, so that's why I don't have it physically. So with that said, I've got some physical ones here to talk to you about. So first up, Shangri-La Frontier, Volume 1. This is absolutely fantastic. If you're a video game person at all, I would 10 out of 10 recommend this series. It has very much kind of a Sword Art Online feel to the opening a bit, and clearly the higher-ups are paying close attention to him and the way he's playing the game, because he purposely played really bad games for a long time, but this is like the most popular game out there right now and has been for months. And so he goes in and he's like, yeah, there's no bugs, this is amazing, and he's getting all of these unique experiences. So it's really interesting to watch him play it. And so I've really enjoyed this. The art style is fantastic. If you like JRPG or open world style video games, this is definitely going to be for you. Next here, I have Imaginary Volume 1. Now, I went into this one, some people had compared it to things like Wotakoi, but that definitely doesn't track here. This was not good. I stopped halfway through. I did not enjoy this. I felt like it was overly sexualizing the situations that they were in. Imaginations do run wild. I liked one of her friends and her boyfriend better than the main couple, which just let me know that this isn't the series for me. So sadly, this one's a miss for me. I'll just reread Wotakoi if I want those feelings. Next, I finally got around to The Fiancé Chosen by the Ring, Volume 1. I'm obsessed. I love them. I love them as a couple. I love the prince as well. Like, all of this is rounding out to be a beautiful and lovely story so far. I'm a big fan. Would definitely recommend this one. The art style's beautiful. I know Volume 2 is out in the wild, but should be out by next week, I believe. So definitely pick this one up. It's a great one. They're slow releasing, so just know that, but otherwise you're in good shape with this one. And then the last one that I've read so far for this project is Miss Miyazin Would Love to Get Closer to You. And I'm obsessed with them. If you like things like Girl with the Sanpaku Eyes or Honey So Sweet, this is definitely going to have that feel. It's mutual pining, but he was a delinquent in his former school. He studied very hard to get into a normal school. And so a lot of people don't approach him because he looks like a delinquent, except this girl, and she like watches Yakuza movies and makes these weird, obscure Yakuza movie references that he does get, but he doesn't think she is actually giving him those references. He thinks he's just imagining it, and they're adorable, and I love them so very much. These are very quick reads. This one's only going to be a 4-volume series, but I'm obsessed and in for the long haul on this one because it is so freaking cute. So there's a quick update with this Volume 1 project. I think I'm just going to go home and blast through a bunch more of them today because I have the day off from work, even though I came to work to visit with Maeve, and I am just in the right headspace and in the right mood to read a bunch. So I think I'm going to do that, and I'm reading other books as well, so I'll work on those as well when I need a break. So yes, definitely enjoying it and very excited.
Though it hurts so bad, I wanna stay wide open. Don't wanna care about them. Though it hurts so bad, I wanna stay wide open. 'Cause if I shut down, it just gives them the right.
Okay, friends, different location. So we've got 4 more volumes to talk about here. So let's quickly talk about them. So first up, I have Romantic Killer Volume 1. This is the newest Shoujo Beat title. It is in full color, and this was way more fun than I was expecting it to be. So essentially, this girl on our cover, she's a first year in high school. And the deal is she's not even interested in guys. She's got her cat, she's got her chocolate, and she's got her video games. That's all she needs to live a perfectly content life. But because birth rates are down in Japan, somebody's livelihood depends on it, a meddling little imp as she calls it, named Riri, and Riri decides to take matters into their own hands, takes away all of her temptations, and continually throws her in the way of the hot guy here in the background. His name is Tsukasa, and they start to form a really interesting friendship/relationship, and this little imp is trying to purposely throw every shoujo trope at you, so this very much pokes fun at itself. We have a heroine who's very anti-romance and things like that. It's very, very good. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't want to say anything more than that right now because I feel like it will spoil things, so I'm not going to, but just know I have a new Shoujo Beat that I'm going to be obsessed about for the next little while, and I would recommend picking this one up. Next on the list, we have Unnamed Memory Volume 1, and in this one, We have a medieval feeling kind of area, and there are 5 witches who kind of control a lot of the magic within the area. And this is the love story between the Crown Prince and the 5th witch. I don't want to say much more than that, again, because I don't want to spoil things on this story. But the way things are coming about, it's very sweet. He's definitely having to earn her trust because she's a witch, and a very powerful and ancient witch at that. But she just got to a point where her body just stopped growing and developing. She looks, high school age, or like early 20s at most. So it's not like creepy feeling at all. And I'm really enjoying the setup for this. I do also have the first volume of the light novel, so I'm going to try that, see if I prefer one or the other. But right now, I'm invested in the story. So once I read that, I'll let you guys know if I plan on continuing on in the manga or the light novel. But if you aren't interested in the light novel at all, I do think the manga is a solid pickup. So if the story interests you at all, go ahead and read the back. It's not too spoilery. So yes, if this sounds interesting to you at all, I would definitely pick it up. Next on the list, I did read Cats and Sugar Bowls. Now, this one was sadly a disappointment for me. This is a very skinny volume, and there are 9 stories in here. So I felt like none of the stories got enough page time to really feel like a good investment. So I would recommend, if you're interested in reading the stories, I would either sit at a bookstore and read it, or I would maybe see if you can get it through your library or maybe digitally and go that route, because I personally felt like it wasn't worth the $15 that this volume costs. Granted, I don't pay that because of my discount at the bookstore I work at, but still, I felt like I paid too much for it because none of the stories felt like they were fleshed out enough. The first 2 stories are really the same couple, but it still wasn't enough page time. Like, if this was 2 different stories, maybe, but squeezing 9 in was a bit much for me. So sadly, this one didn't quite work, and I'm really sad because they did do some talk about kink in here that I thought could have gone really, really well had it had more time to breathe. So I wanted more from this, and I'm just real sad. Because if it had just been one story, like the story about this main couple that takes up the first 2 stories, and just been more of them, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more. Or, as I said, maybe only 2 different couples in here, but we have too many couples, you're not getting enough story on any of them. So there's my thoughts on that one. And then last but not least was the one I was probably the most nervous about in this entire project, and that was Monotone Blue by Nagabe. Now, I've tried Nagabe's short story collections that they've come out with, and there's always been kind of an ick factor to some of the stories, so I've not fully enjoyed one of those collections. This being a solo story, I really enjoyed this. I thought that it was fleshed out in a believable way, and that Nagabe likes to work with different traumas and help people work through them. And this one definitely deals with a bullying trope at a school, because our lizard, Aoi, got bullied at his previous school. And so he assumes people are going to act a certain way towards him just because he's a lizard and everybody else is more beastly or something with fur. So like cats, dogs, wolves, those kinds of creatures. And so basically he ends up making friends with the notorious school delinquent Hachi, and they actually form a really beautiful friendship, and I really enjoyed how this one went. Yes, there is triggers for bullying and triggers for being alluded to an assault, a sexual assault on our lizard guy from the bullying. So know that going in. It doesn't show anything graphic, but it's hinted at that it goes that far. We don't know for sure, but I would definitely recommend checking this one out. I think Hachi does a great job of letting Aoi know that he's not going to be like everyone else he's interacted with. So this project's going pretty well, I think. I mean, I've been able to solidify, yes, I want to continue some things, And some other things, it's like, I don't know. Other things, it's definitely no. So far, so good. We've got a few more. I did add a couple in today while I was at the bookstore, but I just figured I would take the opportunity since I was working on this project anyway. So yes, I hope you guys are enjoying the video so far, and I'll come back when I've read a little more. Hello, I'm back for another clip for this vlog. So I just read all of Princess Knight by Osamu Tezuka. In this story, we have Sapphire, which is our main character, who, when in heaven, is given a girl heart and a boy heart. And you have various people trying to get her boy heart or her girl heart for their own nefarious purposes. And that's kind of the whole concept. She has someone that she's in love with throughout, and it's really a product of its time. And I think there were lots of instances where Sapphire wasn't themselves. They weren't themselves once one or the other of the hearts were gone from them. And so I think it's a really good play on, it doesn't matter if you're feminine or masculine, you can be both whenever you want. You're still just you. And again, considering when this was initially written, I think it did a really good job of trying to broach the subject without fully broaching it. I guess you could say. Again, I do think it's a product of its time a little bit. Not only the art style, but like the campy mustache twirly villains, all that kind of stuff. So I do think that this is great. I do plan on keeping it in my collection. But I wouldn't say it's necessarily the kindest towards anyone who feels maybe that they are trans. I'm not sure that this will make you feel seen. So don't go into it expecting that. Again, considering when it was written, I think it did the best it could in that situation. But Sapphire is definitely themselves the most when the boy heart and the girl heart are still intact. And I think it did a really good job of showing that you don't have to be one or the other. You can live on both sides. So, with that said, that's all I have for you right now. I'll chat with you guys in the next clip. Hey there! So I just read volume 1 of Love Nest. Now, this one is really interesting. Apparently, this mangaka ties all their stories together. So this is the same mangaka that did Sayonara Game and Change World. I have not read Change World, but I'm still following along just fine. Love Nest is following a guy who had kind of a really toxic same-sex relationship in his early 20s, it seems, and that kind of scarred him, and he's got rowdy neighbors upstairs, and this guy who's a total playboy moves him in with his, like, childhood best friend, and they start to form a relationship. This is really cute. It is very steamy. You get full peen. It's all the things. It's sealed for a reason. And yes, I enjoyed it. I like this mangaka's storytelling. I honestly think this is going to be really interesting moving forward. So I'm very much looking forward to the next volume on this one. So yeah, that's all I've got for now. We'll chat more soon. Hi friends. So it is time for the last clip of this vlog. Thank you so much for sticking with me. I know this one's longer than previous installments, but I have 4 more volumes to talk about. So let's quickly do this. First up, The Summer You Were There. I am very curious about where this one is headed, because this Yuri does not feel like it's going to have a happily ever after. I cannot tell if suicide is going to be involved. So if that's a trigger for you, maybe tread cautiously. But at the very least, I don't think these two end up together in the end with the way the tone of the story is going. I don't know what that means for the future, but I am curious enough to continue on this one. Next up, we have No Longer Heroine. I can understand why no one's talking about this now. I did not enjoy this. I did not enjoy this one bit. Basically, in the shoujo tropes, we're following the main girl who thinks she's supposed to be the heroine and be with the guy. But I actually really like the girl that he has a crush on better anyway. So this one just did not work for me. I did not like being in her headspace. Her obsession with this guy and her entitlement she feels towards him is just not something that I enjoy. So yes, this one's definitely not for me. I can't recommend it, and I'm not going to continue. Next, we have a new obsession, and that is crossplay love, otaku, and punk. So essentially, we have these two boys who go to school together, and these two boys, this one has a hobby of cross-dressing and cosplaying as a girl. He works at a maid cafe. One day, our delinquent friend walks by the maid cafe, catches sight of him in drag, and immediately has a crush. And so he doesn't want to be a creeper delinquent going in and making her uncomfortable. So he also cross-dresses so that he can get to know her. And this guy, gets a crush on the female version of the delinquent. But they go to the same school and they have run-ins together and they do not like each other. So we have this whole thing going on and all of their friends involved. It's really good. This one's fairly long. It's 9 volumes so far in Japan. But I am in for the shenanigans. I was squealing, laughing. There's so much blushing going on here. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. So if you like the will they, won't they, like, tension, this one's going to be perfect for you. And I think the cosplay element is really fun the way it's brought in. So really enjoying this. Very much looking forward to more. 10 out of 10 would recommend. And then last but not least for this list is Tales of the Kingdom. Now, what I didn't know going into this is actually a short story collection. So you're following different stories. Yes, the first story you follow are these two who seem to be brothers, but we aren't sure if they're brothers, and about how they interact within their life. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil their story. I found their story very intriguing. But then we jump to another story and another story. So there's a total of 3 different POVs, or like 3 different sets of stories that we follow in this one volume. I am curious enough to continue at least one more volume because I can't tell if these are linear or not, and I would like to know if they're linear. So I do want to try one more volume. But after that, I'm not 100% sure where I'm going to be. It's currently 4 volumes in Japan and ongoing, so I don't know where it's headed. So I am intrigued enough to continue. So with that said, I've got 3 lists, well, 4 lists, I guess, technically for you. So here's the list of the 3 volumes that were completed in my order of enjoyment of them. Next, I have the list here that I am definitely continuing these titles, and I did rank them in my enjoyment level within this bracket. And then I have my I'm curious enough to pick up one more volume list, and that's right here, again, ranked in order of how I think I'm going to enjoy them in future. And then I do have my list of definite nopes or disappointments if they're already finished. And that's how this video wrapped up. That's a total of 18 series that you got my opinion on in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're here just because you love me, leave me a crown because you are a king or a queen or whatever form of royalty you want to be for making it through this entire video. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Was it all just a dream, just all in my